morning sunshine, rocking the good time with all our friends. Easy and carefree, out in the summer breeze, loving a simple things for hours on end. Around about sundown, we lay on the ground, count on the stars as they come out one at a time. Ain't this a sweet life?
Hey everybody, I'm X Factor winner Tate Stevens, and welcome to the Sweet Life Podcast, where we talk about everything from music, sports, food, entertainment, and, well, just living the sweet life. Hey everybody, it's me, Tate Stevens, and as always, AJ Kronk. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We're sitting here trying to figure out how did we even get into this?
How did we start the show?
Oh man, it has been a minute, but we are back. We are back for another season of the Sweet Life Podcast with Tate Stevens and AJ Kronk. We got a lot to talk about now. We had a whole summer of shows and the good, the bad, the ugly of all of that.
Holy moly.
It wasn't all bad. It was good. It was good times. We had a great time. But it was just some of the things we had to put up with. Most artists would have just been like, I'm out of here. I ain't doing it. I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm out.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's get going. We had a pretty successful summer, really. This year we got to get out and play a lot more than we have in the past couple of years, which is good.
Yeah,
for me, especially. It's good for the soul and all that good stuff. Getting out and playing live music and sharing the music with the people. So
absolutely,
had a great group of people in the band, and this year I'm going to continue that. Hopefully with them. For several years doing this kind of thing. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this year. I think we'll do as many or more maybe this year. Do some more in town though, I think.
Yeah.
We'll do a few more in town. Not just the fairs and festivals and stuff. So we'll play some club dates and stuff in town. But man, I had a great time. This summer was really good, and we didn't make a lot of money, but it was just kind of it made it worth it to go out. And do it. But it was exciting for me to get out and put a show together.
Yes.
From the start.
Yes.
And work through it. And we changed it a few times along the way and changed it on the fly sometimes. There was a few that we had to kind of change because of circumstances.
Yeah.
But all in all, though, I thought we had a really good season. I thought we had a really good summer season, and like I said, looking forward to next year and seeing what that has in store for us too. But
yeah, which I don't think we've recorded any shows since we've done any of those. Right?
We haven't. So this is our, like I said, first one back for this new season of the Sweet Life Podcast. But we took almost a year off.
Just about.
It's almost been like 11 months or 10 months.
Yeah. It's let's see. I think our first show that we did was at Colby, Kansas.
Yeah, April.
In April.
Yeah, so it's been since April, so 8 months.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. I've had a couple people saying, "Hey, you guys like not doing the podcast anymore?" It's just like,
I know. We've been busy. We've been busy in work and life and everything, and so we're getting back after it. And we're going to try to drop one once a week again, kind of do that, or maybe two. If we don't do one, we get one in 1 week. We maybe do two the next week or something. You know?
Yeah.
But we're back at it. We got a lot to talk about, and more top 10 lists, more all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good season. So stick around. We got a lot to talk about: hunting, fishing, loving every day. No. No, it's going to be a great. It's going to be a great season. I think I'm excited about it. But right now, summertime shows, hot. It was hotter than Jesus outside on some of them, and I'm like, oh, this fat kid is not doing well. I remember just soaking wet, just standing there like, oh my God, I'm miserable. Sweating like mad. We started in Colby, Kansas. The weirdest. That was the weirdest show. No, wasn't the weirdest show. The weirdest show. It was
up there. It was up top 5.
It was the
top 5 weirdest shows we've ever played.
Yeah. So we get there to the fairgrounds. Now this is in April, the mid to end of April.
Yeah.
We get there to the fairgrounds, huge fairgrounds. If you've ever been out there, Colby, they have a giant fairgrounds, beautiful facility. It was awesome. We get there and we're in a building, of course, because it's still kind of chilly outside. And I'm thinking, what an odd time to have a fair in April,
Yeah.
That's not really fair season, but, oh, well, whatever, man. Let's do this. So we pull up and they're like, no, we're in a building right behind the grandstands and it's, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Had a nice little stage and everything in there. And the people were amazing. I mean, they were great people.
Super nice.
They took care of us. Hotels, great. Food. We ate chicken fried steak. It was fantastic. Had a nice camper for us as like a green room kind of thing, which was great.
Yeah.
No, they were just super, super sweet people out there. But we go into this thing, and we come in like, okay, here it is. First show right off the bat. We come in ready to go. And the way it turned out, I'm kind of glad it turned out the way it did. It was kind of like a soft opening, if you will, to what was going to happen. We come out and there is 0 people.
Yep.
Like 20 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking around going, what? I don't understand what's going on, the people were like, you know what? Was it prom?
No, it was no. Remember, it was a
graduate. Well, there was a big
concert.
There was a big Christian concert in the arena. They have like a civic arena.
Yeah,
and then that was going on, but it was either prom or it was prom. I think it was prom or something, or graduation.
Late April, that would have been right. Yeah.
So prom for the town. So, and I'm like, oh man. And then they had like 3 or 4 things going on that night.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I'm asking, I'm like, so where's everybody at? Did you guys like promote this at all? They're like, well, we did on our Facebook account for the fair. And I'm like, what do you have? What do you have, like 10 followers on that thing?
Right.
I mean, it's just you guys, the fair board,
Yeah.
But anyway, the fair board president he showed up 10 minutes before we were done. So he wasn't even there, because his granddaughter or whatever was doing her pictures for prom and all. Anyway, but whatever. It was it was actually probably better that it wasn't packed because I don't think we were really ready for a whole show like that.
It was shaky to start with.
It was like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to work song wise. Digging our heels into the songs and in an order.
Yeah.
How they fit best.
Plus that was before we started doing Chattahoochee. So, I mean, it would have been a big letdown anyway,
Yeah. I mean, apparently that's what that took our show into the next level. Doing Chattahoochee.
We leveled up with that one.
Yeah, I mean we went Jesus. We took off when we started doing that one.
Oh yeah.
But no, it was good. So it was kind of a soft opening, which and what was kind of cool about it is we just played what they wanted to hear. And I mean, we were doing Elvis songs and we did Footloose. You sang Footloose that night. And you were reading the words off your phone.
Right. Yeah.
And it was going and you were trying to read and it was good.
I totally butchered Footloose.
It was okay though. They didn't know.
No.
Hell, they didn't know. The people that were there, they didn't care. They were out there dancing. Then the one guy fell off the chair during that song. Wasn't it Footloose or was it Elvis when he stood up on the chair and fell off the chair on the dance floor?
I didn't see that actually.
Oh yeah. It was good. It was good times.
I think everybody saw that but me.
Yeah, maybe so. But so we finished this show. If you want to call it a show, it was more just like we went and jammed.
Exhibition.
Yeah, we were exhibitionists that night. We finished this deal, this event, and I felt terrible for them. And they were like, no, it was a fundraiser. And I'm like, oh my God. So now they're charging people money to get in. That's never a good thing.
Nope.
And anyway, so it turned out terrible for them, but it was okay. I mean, we still got paid and all that. But it was a good time. Like I said, it was a good thing that we got to do that then in front of 20 people.
Yeah.
That way, the next time we got together, we were like, okay, we played 4 or 5, like we went like 5 or 6 deep into our set list, and then we kind of realized, man, this is just
threw the set list out.
We're just gonna play whatever we want, whatever they want to hear, and
talk about feeling terrible. My ankle felt terrible after that show.
Yeah, you jumped off the back of the stage trying to be cool.
No, okay. So what happened was,
and now you're still in pain.
It still hurts. It really does, and it's been 8 months. But so we were done with the show. You were trying to hunt down the guy to get paid and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get my stuff put up, which I've got next to nothing for gear.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, I was carrying, I think it was my mic stand, your mic stand, 2 guitar stands. Like I had just, hands full, and decided, okay, I'm just going to run off the back of the stage here. And it was what, a 2-3 foot drop or something?
Even, probably 2 foot.
2 foot drop.
Yep, probably 2 foot.
And I just jumped right off that, and dude, it just hit my foot hit the ground in a certain way. My ankle just turned. It rolled, and my knee hit the ground so hard that it punched a hole in the knee of my jeans.
Yeah. I remember. Well, you got up limping, and Angie's like, AJ hurt himself, and I'm like, whoa, when? And then you tell me the story, and you show me the hole in your jeans. And it's kind of been a running joke since April, but ankle swole up big, terrible,
and it's still swollen. I just never took the time to,
it's crazy how things like that just go, and it's kind of like the price of fame. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
I was trying to avoid the hordes of fans.
Yeah, the hordes of fans coming, trying to get your autograph. No, after that show, like I said, that show was it was a good show just to kind of get off the ground a little bit, kind of just play. Yeah. It was kind of good to just kind of jam like that to see where everybody felt.
Yep.
How things were feeling. Playing with Lance was,
it was our first time playing with Lance.
And he just killed it. You know, I mean, we go from that and the next show, I believe, was here in Shawnee, right? It was old Shawnee days.
Old Shawnee days.
So that was more of, okay, this is a concert, big stage, big things. Here we go.
And who were we were opening for?
God, what was that guy's name? I don't remember his name. Hold on.
Jason something.
Yeah, Pritchett. Jason Pritchett.
Pritchett.
He was on America's Got Talent, and all that. But so we did a show with him, and it went okay. I thought, that was kind of the first. Okay, here we go. Here's our list. Here's our show list. Let's go out and run it, and see what happens, and how it feels, And then the next show was a show with Ricochet, and we changed some things, because we were like, oh, that has to go here, that has to go here. We're kind of in that, we get stuck in that little rut of kind of mid-tempo kind of things.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of movement in that part of the show. So we got to put this here. Hey, we need another cover tune. We need a couple cover tunes that we can throw in. People are going to know, like that kind of thing, or that we like a lot. So we started doing that. We threw some of those in, and then just kind of fine tuned it for what it was for the rest of the year. And at the end, you're at the end of the summer. Well, just the other night, I thought the show was really good. In Holden, the last show was it was a really good. It was easy. It was kind of relaxed.
Yes,
that's what was cool about it. Mm-hmm. There was, like I said, there was zero. I'm like, we're not coming out here running like our heads on fire, jumping off things.
Yeah.
It's one
of those gigs we weren't sweating our butts off and we weren't getting rained on. So.
Yeah. Oh, we got how many rainouts we have?
About 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
About 3 rainouts.
So the one in Jeff City where we're playing another show with Ricochet, and we take the stage, we start playing, and it starts pouring down rain halfway through our thing, and we kind of get shut down there. But that's part of playing fairs and festivals. The rain and just weather conditions.
Yeah.
Some of them I wish had gotten rained out.
Right. Yeah.
My God.
It's like the one at Jeff City. It's just like, oh, this is cool. People are starting to come up to the stage and stuff. And then all of a sudden, people start just running away. And I'm like, what's their problem?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, there's rain.
Oh, there's lightning. Big lightning bolts. That's why. And we're all plugged in. So this is great. This feels good. This is going to end well for somebody.
Well, speaking of Ricochet, we ought to get Heath on the show one of these days.
We will. We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll call him. Good dude, man. Good guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you love the 90s country like I do, they were a really big band in the 90s and some great songs. Heath's a great player, great singer.
Still sings great.
Oh, man, he plays his butt off and he sings great. Man, and they're good dudes, and Heath, it's just Heath now. I mean, he is Ricochet. So,
right.
But even the guys that he has playing in the band, good dudes, solid guys. We had Rick Toops fill in for us playing at
keyboard at Jeff City
at the Jeff City date, man, and he did great. I mean, he's like, no rehearsal. We just went like, hey, man, here you go, just follow along, and he had his notes were great, and did a great job, and a super good dude. So. We had a good time. Like I said, I had a really good time this summer. You had those fairs that, like I said, I'd been to 12 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was kind of sad.
It seems like fairs are they're kind of dying off.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because these are free fairs. It's free entertainment.
Yep.
And in some of these spots, you're like, what else are you guys doing?
Right.
You have to drive for 2 hours before you find a town that has a McDonald's. You know what I mean? So what the hell are you doing? Come to the fair.
Yeah, but
but whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. But so I found that to be sad this year. And talking to some of my other artist friends, they've seen the same thing.
Yeah.
Now the big music festivals, they're still big music festivals.
Sure.
There's still hundreds of thousands of people that go to those. But the small county fairs are dwindling down, and it's just, and you talk to the fair board people, and there's like, no one comes out to the fair hardly anymore. No one really supports it. They'll come to the rodeo or they'll come to the tractor pull.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, you're just doing the 4-H thing. But anyway, so, we had some, we pulled up to a few, and you looked at it. I mean, not to call people out, but Maryville, Missouri. We go to Maryville, and I'm thinking, okay, they have a sound company, right?
Yeah.
It's an audio visual company. It's not a sound company.
Oh, Maryville. Okay.
Great stage, little clamshell stage. It's fine, 100% fine. Right on the edge of the square. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they bring bleachers in, and it's going to be a good time. I mean, it should have been a really good time, but we had some hiccups with the production, and it was just kind of made it.
Homeboy was kind of over his head on that deal.
Yeah, he had no idea. Yeah. He had no idea, and
seemed like a super nice guy.
They were great, and I'm not bagging. I'm not
sure.
I'm not trying to dog on anybody or anything like that. But they just didn't know. They don't know what they don't know. And when you do a big band, when you have a 6-piece band coming, that we have a lot of stuff. And to carry that, you need a lot of stuff.
Right.
And anyway, it worked. We made it work, and people were happy. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters, But it's kind of one of those things. I had to learn some things this year. And the biggest thing for me was just almost patience at the and it's not patience, but it is. And it, it's kind of like, at first I was like, okay, this is not how this works.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this way too long. This is not how this works ever. In the history of everness, this is not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you're kind of at the mercy of what you get.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, again, and I'm like, all right, so rectifying that, I'm rectifying it, as we speak, trying to rectify all those. So that way, when we pull up, we don't have those issues.
Yeah.
It could be on their end. They could have a bunch of issues on their end, but we will not. We'll be comfortable in our own skin, if you will, our own,
because that's the worst, or not the worst, but kind of the worst part about it is sound check. Just taking forever and a day to get through a sound check.
Yeah, but like I said, this year it was a learning curve for me. This year, in a few ways, I had to go back and kind of reset myself to, okay, who are you?
Right.
Who are you as an artist right now? Who are you? You're 47 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not jumping off of shit. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not swinging on ropes. I'm not doing anything like that. So who are you?
Yeah.
And
it's kind of a rebuilding.
Yeah. And it was a little difficult at first because I'm like, I'm trying to fit. I'm trying to figure out where I'm fitting with the music and what I'm doing. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of struggling here in my head. But then about halfway through it, I just figured it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? This is where you are. This is who you are as an artist. And this is who you've always been as an artist. You didn't have to run around and do all the dumb things and jump around. Just do what the music makes you do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Just because Garth did it doesn't mean everybody needs to.
And it's not even that. It's just,
well, he kind of set the bar for everybody in that time period.
Chris Ledoux set the bar for everybody. Garth stole all of it from him.
Yeah.
But
he just stole his bar.
Yeah, he just stole his bar and then kind of raised it a little bit. But so I kind of figured it out, and I'm like, this is who I've always been. I've never been that guy. I've done some crazy things, climbing scaffolding and doing stuff like that and shows, and I've done all that kind of stuff, and it's fun and cool and whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're good to the music's good to you.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sing these songs the best I can sing them. I'm going to make sure that when I'm doing these songs, even Chattahoochee, I'm going to try.
That's right.
It's such a dumb song. I hate that song. I truly hate it. I don't like it at all. I mean, there's so many better songs than that. But anyway, whatever. Doesn't
I'm
matter.
not the biggest fan of the song, but every time people hear the it just
see, they just go. They just like it.
It's
stupid. And so I just kind of figured out, okay, this is how I sell that as me. This is how I would do the song, whatever. And it was kind of relaxing after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I'm excited and I have fun and we move around and we do things, but it's not running from one side of the stage to the other. It's not jumping off things. It's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's not a lot of smoke and fire, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Halfway through the summer, I kind of got it. I'm like, I got to have fun. And I was having fun, but it wasn't like so enjoyable until I just kind of let go.
Right.
I let it go. And I went, now it's fun. Now this is fun for me. And I hope people dig it, And luckily, I think everybody did. I think everybody had on all the shows, whether there was 40 people or, 140 or 4,000 people. It didn't matter. I think everybody kind of got it, and everybody walked away happy for the most part.
Here, let's go in order here. After Shawnee, the one we played after that was Edgerton.
That was with Ricochet. That was remember it was like molten lava hot in the middle of the street. Same stage, we play,
yes,
same.
Yes, in the street. Yeah, okay.
And it was like 1,000 degrees.
Like that house / office building was our.
It was our green room.
Yeah. Okay.
It was 1,000,000 degrees outside, and it literally, and we went on at like 7:30 maybe.
Yeah.
and it was 95 or 99 degrees. It was just miserable.
That was a brutally hot day.
And no one was there really. We had maybe 300 people there until the sun went down. And when the sun went down, like another 300 or 400 people showed up.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, okay, it's cool now. We'll come out and watch the show when we were almost done, Yeah. But anyway, Edgerton was great. That was a good time. That was a good show. I thought that show, for me, it was a little rough. I for whatever reason, I couldn't find it that night. And I thought the band played great. I thought, the set that we had put together for that show was really good. I thought it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
There was a few songs that I was like, okay, we got to change that for sure.
Yeah.
These two around. But all in all, I thought that was a pretty good show. Besides being so damn hot outside, it was miserable. That was brutal.
And that was I think the first time we had a fill-in bass player, that was Shawnee.
Yeah, Gavin.
God, I just drew a blank.
Yeah.
But yeah, he filled in for us there. Then Chris Austin.
Yeah, Chris Austin played at
Edgerton.
Both of them did great.
Yeah.
Both nights were fine. I didn't you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Especially, it's kind of funny. Chris Austin, another great player, another real estate guy.
Yeah. I think Kevin was also in real estate.
Yeah, Kevin, our steel player, was a real estate guy too. But and they came in, both filled in great and everything. But the Edgerton show was so hot. It was just it was so miserable. Mm-hmm. And I bought this new shirt, right? It was a Huey shirt. And it's like silky, lightweight. Like I'm thinking, this is gonna breathe. I'm not gonna die in this thing, right? Short sleeve. I'm like, man, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
I get up there and I'm like, we start going. And I'm like, man, we played 2 songs, and I'm soaked. It's sticking to me, like the shirt. It's like, oh my God! It felt like I just jumped into a pool of water and got out with my clothes on.
And I think that's the show. I had a fan.
Yeah.
And I had the fan going, and you were like completely soaked. You looked back at me, I had like a bead of sweat on my forehead.
Yeah. You were standing, you didn't move. You were just like fixed in front of your box fan.
Yep.
And I remember taking my hands, because the sweat was in my eyes so bad I couldn't see, and it was burning. So I used my thumbs as like little squeegees. So I went like that, and I went whoosh, and I watched this big stream of water just shoot out in the crowd. And I turned around and looked at you, and you're just like,
It's like, it's kind of chilly over here.
You're like, whoa, that one almost got away from me. I'm like, oh my God, I was sweating, towel soaked. I was soaked. Yeah, it was brutal. That was brutal. And that was, it was kind of funny. So that was a show with Ricochet. We opened a show for Ricochet that night, and talking to Heath and those guys. Talking to Heath before the show, and I'm like, man, my son Hayden was there, and I said, Hayden loves your music. He loves Ricochet stuff. And he was like, no kidding. And I said, not just Daddy's Money and What Do I Know? He loves album cuts. Like, he knows 90% of your stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's his favorite song? And I said, he loves Ease My Troubled Mind. He goes, are you serious? He goes, all right, what's his name? I told him Hayden. He's like, that's awesome. So he literally walked up. They come out to their intro, and they start playing Ease My Troubled Mind, very first song. And he was like, Hayden, check this out. And, he rumors abound, and he starts singing. And he's like, he knows my name. He thought it was pretty cool. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, like I said, and then they just crushed it, dude. They absolutely crushed it. There's, like I said, he sings his face off and plays his butt off, and he's just a good entertainer, and he's got a good group of guys around him.
Yeah.
They do well. They do really well. So it was a lot of fun. That show was a lot of fun. And where did we go? It's a blur. I don't remember all our shows and where they were.
After that, I just have on my calendar here, it says gig with Tate, but it doesn't have a town attached. But the one after that was Milford, Kansas, which I don't remember anything particularly happening at Milford.
Oh, Milford. That was at the lake. That was the lake thing that got rained out.
Yes.
That was our first rain out.
Yes.
Our first.
Okay.
It was another show with Ricochet.
Yep.
Another show with Ricochet.
That was the show that I got to look at Heath's guitars because I was taking him into that RV because
Yeah.
of all the rain.
Yeah.
That sweet B bent dude. His guitars are pretty.
Yeah, and
sweet.
I remember Kevin, our steel player, picked up his little volume pedal and just poured the water out of it.
That's sickening. Because I think we were eating Mexican food, weren't we, or
Yeah,
something?
no,
in
we
town?
were. Remember? No. We were at the barbecue place. Remember,
Barbecue,
because
it was
Frank,
barbecue, that's
because the agent was like, Frank's like, oh, this barbecue place is great, and blah blah blah. So we go into town.
What
and,
does Frank know? He needs a haircut.
Yeah, I know, and old hippie, and so we go in there to town, and we start eating, and get a phone call. Rain's blowing sideways. Like what? And sure enough, we get out there.
How sickening is that?
We get out there, and everything's just done.
Ugh.
Just soaked. That whole campground area.
That was like the 4th of July weekend thing.
Was it
That was
4th?
July
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah.
And July 3rd, we played at Kearney Amphitheater.
It was a good gig.
Which was fun.
That was a
Yeah.
really fun gig. That's always good. That Kearney Amphitheater is a good amphitheater. We had a good turnout, and their fireworks display was great. Mm-hmm. And that was a good show. That was a really solid. That was a solid night. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
I thought, and they always do a great job with production and stuff like that out there. They kind of have it down.
Well, we got Great Bend, Kansas.
Okay, so the Great Bend. We'll get back to Great Bend because this is the weirdest. And all my time of doing shows, I've played for nobody. I've played in bars for 0 people.
Right.
I've played in, we've all done it. We've all been on stage in front of 0 people.
A bunch of times.
And we pull up in Great Bend, Kansas, Barton County Fair. There are no rides. There are no vendors. They had one food truck vendor thing. And I don't know if they sold food. I think it was just shaved ice and stuff. But big stage, big production.
Yep.
Gary and his guys got this thing out there rolling, man. It was perfect. Sound was great. And I remember looking around going, man, there's no one at the fair.
Yeah.
We sat in the RV behind the stage again going, I've counted 100 people all day.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm thinking, so, and I brought my wife came, cause she was like, I'll sell your merchandise and stuff. And I'm like, okay, great. It'll be fun. Whatever, you get to go with me.
Sure.
We go out. They start putting up this tarp, like a 12 or 14 foot tarp all the way around the whole place, like walls around the whole thing. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And they're like, oh no, we want people to pay to get into the show. And I'm like, I don't know if you've noticed that there's only 100 people here total.
Yeah.
And that's including the band. And we're 6. We're 6 of us.
Yeah, that was, what's her name? Jadance
Sure.
came in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she came in and
yeah. She opened
the show for us.
Did a little acoustic thing.
A little shout out to Jadance.
Yeah.
If she's a podcast
She's
listener.
probably not, but
Probably
whatever.
not.
She's 10. I don't know. She's not very old. So, but they had the little beer garden in there where we were. So we had 50 people, 50, 60 people. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, half the people that came to your fair came in here to the show. Whatever.
Well, we talked about Maryville. We talked about Clay Center and Jefferson City. Garner, Kansas. It was the Johnson County Fair.
Johnson County Fair is good.
That was fun. That was a good one.
That was in the
we had a roof over us
in the shed.
So that
we
was
were in
nice.
the shed.
Yeah.
In the shed.
Hey, I
call
would
it
have
the shed.
I would have took a shed than
You
been
did
out in the sun.
right in your pants.
A couple times that summer.
Oh man, some of the stages, I'm like, people, listen. I know we're outside in the middle of a cow field, but can you please put a top on this thing?
Right. Well, then after that was La Crosse, Kansas.
Yeah, and so La Crosse, that was okay. So we'll talk about my guys, my guys in La Crosse. I love them. They're good dudes, man. Their people are good. They are the salt of the earth people, great people, and I didn't advance the show because they booked our sound and lights. Everything had sound and lights provided for us. Well, I didn't advance it far enough out. Which won't happen again. We're going to be plenty in advance. Everything's going to be way in advance. Anyway, and so when they sent me the information on the the production company, let's call it, the day before, I got a phone call from Angie, our piano player.
Yeah.
And she's got her little thing, the Girls Next Door deal with Jamie and Barb.
Yeah, and they played there, a few nights before us?
Two nights before us. She calls me, hey, the sound company, if you will, the production company, isn't a production company. It's a DJ, a mobile DJ. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously, probably not for Saturday. No. Because I told him, he was like, they could barely do our little 3-piece thing, our trio.
Yeah. Yep.
And she said, you guys know he's a 6-piece band.
Yep.
Like a full thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, we didn't know that. I call you. And I said, hey, because I was in Florida. And I said, AJ, will you please advance this real quick for me?
Yeah, because I sent him the things like, hey, did you get our tech writer and everything? He said, yeah, we can't really accommodate any of that. And it's just like, what? Because, dude, we're days. It's like, a couple days before we're going to be. And I was like, well, this sounds like a conversation Tate needs to have and not me, because I don't have any of the contacts or any of the contracts in front of me even. So it's just like, I'll just leave this to him.
So I call and I'm like, hey, I understand there's a little bit of a mix up in the thing. Yeah. He said, yeah, I'm going to be really honest and upfront with you. We are a mobile DJ here in La Crosse. We do weddings and stuff like that. I have a few microphones and some speakers. I felt kind of bad because they had no idea. And then he told me, 2 days ago I got this gig. They didn't know. They just thought it was them. They just thought they were playing at the fair, hooking up their little sound system and being a DJ at the fair. Yeah. They didn't know they were doing bands.
Yeah.
So they got in touch with a band that they knew of in town that had some gear that we could borrow and that kind of thing.
Mixed and matched a show together, which it ended up turning out to be a pretty good show.
It was a good show. People loved it. They were all excited.
On stage the sound was
awful.
Was pretty awful, but
it worked.
It worked.
And
we got through it.
And we got through it and they were so excited. They were like, in fact, the fair, they were like, man, it's the best show ever. Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yep.
I'm glad we did our job. Now we're going.
Yep. And after that show was another interesting show at Nebraska Furniture Mart. Or NFM, as they like to be called now. So we're parked out like the outer edge of Nebraska Furniture Mart's.
The farthest corner parking.
Of their parking lot.
Yeah, like literally, it's the last row before the road.
Yeah.
In the corner.
Big stage. And I drove by it probably 3 times trying to find it. When I was getting there, couldn't find it even.
Yeah. And it was.
So.
Production was good.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
Yeah. It's just a weird.
It's just weird. So, yeah, you get there. We set up and I'm looking around going.
Yeah. And
do people just bring, what do they have?
What was the heat of the day? And we may have had 15 people there, 20 people?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe 20 at the end.
Yeah.
Because there was cars pulling in.
Yeah.
And so this is the weirdest thing. People are watching us from their cars.
Yes.
Like we're a damn drive-in movie.
Yeah, that's what
Like we are the drive-in movie.
Yep.
And that they're just sitting in their cars.
Just looking at us.
Remember the lady in the Cadillac and we'd say something and she'd honk her horn?
Yep.
It's so good. It's so good you can't make it up.
Yep.
And I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, what am I doing here?
But after that we had Liberal, Kansas, which you described.
Liberal, Kansas. That was a good show.
Which I still have a little bit of a burr under my saddle after that show. But
which one? Because of what was that one?
Yeah. Anyway, I may not go into that.
Oh, go. Who cares?
Well, okay. So we get there, and these sound guys, like, I mean, I'm pretty easy to get along with as long as somebody's not just like, talking to me like I'm
again, big production. It was a big production.
It was
big stage, big production.
And
yes,
we get there, and they're just immediately every time I ask a question, just a smart answer to come back. It's just like, just answer my question, please.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to ask a question. Anyway, and I walked over, had my laptop with me because this was the show that there was like 4 of us.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of want to record this show. And then since it's like, what, a 6-hour drive, 6.5-hour drive back.
Yeah.
It's like I could mix it on my laptop in the car, and then we could listen to it and laugh at ourselves for sucking.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, is it okay if I plug my laptop into your board and I can multi-track record the whole thing, mix it on down? He's like, yeah, it'll cost you. I'm just like, it's okay if not. Just tell me yes or no. Anyway, he's like, yeah. And he gets there, and I'm like, all right, what channel is the kick drum? What channel is the snare drum? Go down the line.
Yep.
We record everything, and I'm mixing it on the way back the next morning. I'm in the back seat, like mixing this thing, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. He gave me the wrong channel for the lead vocal, so we have all the instruments. No lead vocal. So everything but your voice. It's just like, this recording is
done.
I can't even. Nope. I mean, we can't even listen to this with each other because there's no.
There's no reference. It's just music. Yeah.
It's just like, dude, what a jerk.
Yeah. That show, that was a weird show. It was a good show. It was a great show.
It ended up being a great show. The crowd, I remember they were sitting, 50, 60 feet away from the stage.
Yeah.
And finally they all just like came down to the front of the stage and
right in front of the stage.
It was like, all right, this is great.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll set this up by when we pulled into town, into Liberal, we pull into town, go right to the fairgrounds, right?
Yep.
Drive around. I'm looking, I'm like, is this the fairgrounds? Well, it says it's the fairgrounds, but there's no rides again.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to the lady who is putting it on, the fair president lady. Super great people again. Mm-hmm. We ran into nothing but great people this summer, and they were excited about the show and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, so do you guys not have rides? What's the deal with no rides? And she was like, well, had a little mix up on dates. And I'm like, huh? And she was like, yeah. The rides and stuff, the fair was actually last week. It was supposed to be this week. But the fair was actually last week. And so we have to do the concerts this week because this is it worked out this way.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, oh my, right when she said that, I just thought, man, this is a no go.
There's no coming back.
Yeah. So we show up to do the gig. And at first when we get there, there's maybe 100 people. And they were all way down. Yeah, it was weird. Chairs were way down on the left-hand side when you're looking off the stage. And I'm like, this is weird. We started playing, and people started coming in, and they started filling in front of us and then up in the bleachers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I would say 4 or 5 songs in, they just stood up and walked right to the front of the stage and stood there the rest of the night, screaming, partying, and hanging out.
Yep. Wanting to hear Chattahoochee.
Oh, God, that was their favorite. Well, and remember, we just said, because I'm looking around, I'm like, you know what? We can come and do all these songs on the set list, but I just want to party. Let's just have fun. What do you guys want to hear? And it was back and forth. I mean, and we had a good little thing going, and we look up we've been on stage for 2 hours, 2+ hours, and we're like, we gotta go. We're done. And it worked out great. And they loved it.
Me, you, Trey, and Lance.
Yeah. And it was good, man.
Fun. It
was good.
And if all these gigs went great, we'd have nothing to talk about on the podcast.
All right, we had a great summer. Next. Yeah.
Every gig was flawless.
Every gig was great, And then we leave Liberal.
Yes.
We come to Belton.
Yeah.
Right. And that show, so to set the Belton show up, it was the 150th birthday party for the city of Belton. And we'd been in months of planning and preparation for this show, calling me, hey, we need a sound guy. Okay, I got you one.
Yep.
Okay, we need this. I got you one. Well, then the sound guy called. They can't do this because of the city can't do this and this and that. So anyway, it was a big, there were so many moving parts, and finally, Guy Raynard and those guys at Soundcheck stepped in and killed it for them. I mean, they did a great job. Again, it was one of those relaxed kind of. It wasn't relaxed for me so much. It was, but it wasn't, because that was my first time playing at home in 10 years. And after the X Factor and what the city did for me, during the X Factor. And it was kind of like, here, I'm going to do this show and kind of thank you for everything that they've done for me and and stuff and all the support they've given me over the last 10 years and stuff. So I'm like, let's just go out and just throw down, man, and give and put on a great show. And it was, and
absolutely.
And everybody that watched it and was there, they were like, it was from the downbeat. It was like, there it is. Yep. And that's all I wanted to do. Yep. I was like, here, and it worked great. Everybody loved it. It was fine. And, when I walked off stage, I thought, okay, that was good. That was a really good show. Really, really good show. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And it worked.
It was like the perfect ending.
Like, kind of like, okay, we have a few shows left for the year. This is culminating all of everything we've done all year. Set list worked great. And we had to cut songs, which was weird because we had 90 minutes. Yeah. And I'm like, I thought we were going to be, because we had cut a few songs because of the 90-minute thing, and I didn't want to talk a lot. I so I'm like, okay, we can cut that song, and we should be really close. If we're a little early, it'll be okay. And we actually cut 2 or 3 songs, but it worked. It worked out good.
It was a great show.
It was fun. It was
one of those, one of the very few that after it was over, it was just like,
we should start a band.
We should,
we should probably
do this again sometimes, guys.
Yeah, what are you guys doing tomorrow? But it worked.
Yeah, and then after that, the latest show that we played was in Holden here this last weekend.
Dude, that worked. That worked handsomely.
Yes,
if I can say that.
Yeah,
it worked it was so easy. Rusty and them killed it.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude.
But then after that, which was a little chilly, but it was okay. But
it was it was good though. It was good. I didn't
after
sweat.
that, it was we were supposed to play
in New Mexico,
fly date down to New Mexico,
Hobbs, New Mexico. Yeah, I'm bummed out.
I am really bummed out about that too, because I don't know if I told you this. I have a disease where I can't stop telling airport jokes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the doctor says it's terminal.
Dad jokes, dad jokes, dad jokes, dad jokes.
I was actually looking forward to flying down there so I could tell that joke, but
that's good.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I gotta say, with that's a good segue right into this. I was on a podcast not too long ago. Ronnie Phillips, our buddy Ronnie Phillips, old Q104.
Old Ronnie
personality.
Billy. Yeah.
Ronnie Billy. Old Ronnie Billy.
Old Ronnie Billy.
He has a podcast called the Papa Ron Podcast. Really cool. And for those people who don't know who Ronnie Phillips is, he was on Q104 on the radio station here in Kansas City for years and years as a radio personality, and did a lot of things here in town. And then he's like a entrepreneur. Dude has his hands in a lot of different things, business wise, and owns the Heartland Waterfowl thing, which is a TV show on the outdoor. It's either Sportsman's or Outdoor. I can't remember. But he has this podcast called the Papa Ron Podcast, and he just started it last year, I think. And it's sure he has his friends on, and he talks about hunting and fishing and things like that. But he also talks about like mental health issues, especially in men, because we don't talk about our problems. In general, I'm saying men in general, we don't go to the doctor. Most of us, I know I don't. I hate going to the doctor. And we all have these weird things about ourselves that we are like, yeah, I'm okay. It hurts, but it's okay. It's hurt for a year, and I'm still here, so we're good, right? So it's going to be okay. So, but he really has this. He battles depression and stuff like that, and so I went on his podcast, and to tell my story a little bit, just to kind of to straighten it out a little bit from one of his guests that he had on. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it was kind of cool. I kind of told my side of the thing, and,
sure.
and as far as and the mental health thing too, and the things that I deal with, and the anxieties and things like that I didn't even know I had. And not to turn this into like a big like segue of mental health, but it is an issue with guys, and we don't take care of ourselves like that, like we should. We think we're weak or whatever. I never knew I had anxiety, or anything, or really depression of any kind. Maybe depression in high school a little bit. I kind of battled that a little bit in high school, and I don't know why. I don't know what brought it on, but it was kind of like I always had this inferiority kind of complex. As weird as that sounds, I was a athlete and all that, and I sang and performed and stuff, but it was weird, and I can't explain why or how it happened or anything like that. But anyway, it did, and all through my life, I've battled this little bit of depression, and I've never taken drugs for it. I've never taken anything, because I've just learned to deal and how to cope with things, and made my own coping mechanisms to kind of get me through or whatever.
Cocaine and
hookers. No, hookers and blow, man. Yeah. So anyway, that was part of the podcast, the Ronnie Phillips thing.
Yeah.
The Papa Ron podcast. So go check that out, the Papa Ron podcast. It's a good one. He's got a lot of cool people on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff like that. So go check him out and his podcast. And make sure you share this with everybody you know. Share and like the crap out of it. Leave us a written review. You can find this on Apple Podcasts. I think anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us now.
You can stream it on Spotify. I don't know about Apple. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, on Apple. It's up. It's up. Go to the YouTube page. We'll put it up. So checking all our social media stuff and
anywhere that you can stream podcasts, we're on there.
So. Yep. Podbean and all the above, right?
Yeah, and drop us a line. Let us know if there's any topics you think would be entertaining for us to talk about. Yeah. We're always trying to dig out, interesting.
All the cool stuff, man. We'll talk about whatever we had to talk about. Anyway, so that's the good thing about our podcast. We don't. It's not specific to music. It's not specific to anything. It's just what we like to do and what we like to talk about. Yep. Food, music, hunting, fishing, whatever, sports. It doesn't matter. Yeah, food. That's going to be a good one. Had some really cool stuff. Really cool food stuff. Some new recipes that I've been making.
Boy.
It's so good. I'm so fat. That's why I'm fat, because I do that.
Take it out to Real Media KC and
absolutely
do a cooking show.
I'll do it. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to call Brad. We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do that. We'll do an actual cooking thing. I'll make one of my recipes and cook for people, and it'll be good.
Well, my work schedule just lightened up a little bit. So.
Dude, I know you've been bummed out. I'm glad. I'm glad for you, but I'm glad for me too, because I've had to call other guitar players to do a few things, and I'm like, they did great. I mean, obviously, saying he's a great guitar player, but when we went to Idaho a couple weeks ago. Idaho. That's the first time I've ever been to Idaho. Great place. Beautiful. Air was clean. It was weird. It was just weird, man. It was awesome. It was good. Good people. So, anyway. All right. Well, thanks for listening. This has been fun. The first one. Episode number 1, season number 3, right?
Is it?
Season 3. I think so.
I think.
Or 4, maybe. Is this 4? No. Season 4.
Hang on. Let me take a look. I know it's
I think it's
something
3.
Of that.
I think it's season 3. Because the first, I think it's season 3.
Let's see. Here we go.
If it's not season 3, it should be.
See all. Okay. Oh, it used to be set. used to be separated by seasons. That's not really anymore. How peculiar.
How peculiar.
Well, this will be episode number 49.
Episode number 49, but season 3.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll have to plan something big for episode 50.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
Yep.
We might. Yep. All right. That's what we're going to do in episode 50. I'll get on that today. I'll figure it out
We'll actually
tomorrow.
have to put some effort into this one.
Yeah. No, it was good though. It was good. We had to get this one out of the way.
Absolutely.
Had to get this one out of the way. Shake the rust off, and all that. So anyway, remember you can find it anywhere you can find or stream, download podcasts. You can find the Sweet Life podcast with Tate Stevens, and so make sure you share it. Leave us a comment and a 5-star review. Yep. That's what we need. All right. We'll see you next time right here on the Sweet Life Podcast.
Ain't this a sweet life?
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Want to ask a question for a future episode? Well, hit us up on Facebook or Twitter with hashtag Sweet Life Podcast. And be sure to give us a 5-star rating and hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay up to date on the latest news and information for the Sweet Life Podcast. And we'll see you next time.